Anime Addicts, time is running out on our fundraiser for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Please don't forget that until the end of March, 50% of all support we receive is going to a good cause to help people with cystic fibrosis. And now we also have a donor who will match your contributions dollar for dollar, making effectively every dollar you can contribute worth $2, which is extra awesome. So if you were on the fence about supporting the podcast, now's a great time. You can head over to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon. Click that donate link on top of the homepage as well if you'd like. You're going to be supporting the podcast. You're going to get all of our bonus podcast episodes, and you'll be helping the fight against cystic fibrosis, which is a great thing. Again, if you want to help out, you can go to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon, or click that donate link on top of the homepage. And now, let's start the Anime Oscars. It's time for the 10th annual Anime Oscars. The best and brightest from the anime community from 2020 will be here on full display as we talk about the winners of the awards. And I'm your host, Mitsugi. Happy to be joined by two fantastic co-hosts on our program tonight. We have Mason wearing an orange and white bow tie, looking quite dapper, I believe.
Oh, I thank you. That's exactly the adjective I was going for, my friend. Thank you so much for having me. So pleased to be here on this momentous occasion with all of you, and I'm ready to have a good time.
And we also have Caroline looking quite lovely in her dress. Caroline, how are you on this lovely star-studded evening?
Oh my God, the fact that I'm here, it's just amazing. It's honestly, I can't even talk.
I've been choking back tears since last night just thinking about this moment. And again, thank you everybody who contributed to the podcast. Anime Oscars happening this year. We always have a lot of podcasts that contribute to our quote-unquote panel. We had the Anime World Order, Nerddom and Other Nonsense, My Anime Podcast, Anime Nostalgia, Anime Summit, and Otaku Spirit. So you can check out all of those on our show notes if you would like to, and get links to all of them. Check out their podcasts because they did help us come up with the nomination list for the Oscars this year. And also thank you to everybody who voted from our community as well. So, guys, 2020 was a pretty weird year for anime.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of delayed podcasts, a lot of disturbances because of the pandemic and the lack of manpower in the anime industry, putting a lot of stuff off, which is going to bring forth the most incredible 2021 ever that we're ever going to have. It's going to be an unbelievable next year of anime, but I think we made the best out of 2020. What do you guys think?
I think with the amount of just slim pickings for the first few seasons of 2020 made for a very bombastic end of 2020 and start of 2021. So at the very least we have that, and the things that we were looking forward to last year did not just disappear. They're here, they're just a little bit late. They're fashionably late, if you will.
I mean, that's the whole point of this award show, is despite, what turmoils might have been going on in the world and the industry, like the gems of that still exist and should be uncovered and presented to the world, so people in future generations can be like, hey, remember 2020? It had these really great shows in it, despite everything going on. So there's still a lot to love, and excited to talk about it.
It was a tough year, but the Anime Oscars event itself just stands strong as a pillar of continuance, that anime continues to roll on despite the challenges, and we're still here to celebrate all the hard work of everybody that put forth all of their blood, sweat, and tears to make lots of entertainment for lots of nerds all throughout the world. So, and honestly, very well needed entertainment, because when you're all cooped up at home, what else are you going to do except watch tons and tons of anime? So, pretty good stuff. So, guys, do you have any special notes you want to drop about 2020? Any sort of anecdotes about the year?
Not really. Maybe something will come to mind if Caroline has anything, but
Well, 2020 was certainly the year that I just didn't have anything to do. I mean, I rarely have anything to do, but this last year was certainly a special one. So it was like the first year that I really got involved in the watch parties that we have on our Discord. So, and I was only really involved in it for a season because because then I started getting busy and I just couldn't keep up. But I will say that even despite the year being a bit stranger, it kind of helped form connections on our Discord because that's really all that we could do. Like we weren't hanging out with friends in real life. We were kind of forced to do what we had over the internet. So I think at the very least our Discord grew and became stronger because of it.
yeah, Discord friends, not the ones you wanted, but the ones you ended up with.
That's a good point. And if you want to join the Discord, you can go over to our homepage, aaapodcast.com. There's a link across the top. Unlike a lot of other podcasts where you have to kind of contribute money to get even access to the Discord, you don't have to do that with us. You just kind of click the link and boom, you're in. So we're all happy to have you. And, there's a ton of friends waiting for you to just pop in there and say hi and, express your, your feelings. So I am getting made fun of because I am not wearing a bow tie like Mason is, but I am wearing suspenders. So I don't know where my bow ties are. Like I looked for them not long ago, but I couldn't find them. So I don't know. I did have some bow ties, but I don't know. Well, what's more dapper, a bow tie or suspenders?
We're all dapper in our own little ways. I usually double up on it, but Mitz had the suspender, so I was like, no, that's his turf. No need to encroach upon his decree. So, but no, 2020, I watched probably more anime this year than any other year in my life. I don't know about you guys, but it was like my goal at the end of 2020 was to finish not 900 anime that one year, but like collectively, and I blew past that, and I'm like in the thousands now. So like I was not planning on watching as much as I did, so it was certainly a lot of discovery for me.
That's unbelievable, 1,000 anime.
It's maybe a little excessive, but it's what I signed up for.
I think I'm in the 600 club, but not quite the 1,000 club. So I've got a long way to go. So, well, do you guys have any predictions about this award show, about the different winners that we're gonna have? Because I don't want to delay too much before we get into it here.
No, it's kind of interesting how we do this award show because I guess a brief summary is we and all the names of the people that contributed to the poll at the beginning of different podcasts and stuff that chipped in each nominate one show, and then we leave it up entirely to you, the listeners, to vote on that. And we really don't give you any rules to go on. Like when we have a category for like best drama, for example, and we have a list of shows, and we don't say, oh, vote for the best drama show of these, or the show that best represents what it means to be a drama, or we don't say, oh, these are all dramas, which of these is the best show, period. Like we just leave it all up to interpretation. So there is a lot of wild card factors at play that makes it hard to predict.
There was also some trolling going on. I know that we had Peter Grill nominated for best animation, so that was interesting. So we have fun with it, and these aren't any hard and fast rules. It's just a good way to see what the community thinks. I know we did our Discord awards, which is kind of voted on in a very different manner back in episode 557. So it'll be interesting to see how these results compare to ones where people get to nominate their own shows. So there's just a lot to uncover and just seeing how stuff works out, and it's just a lot of fun.
And also,
go ahead.
Sorry. I feel like we want to make it clear that every single year. I mean, this is the first year that I've been involved with this, but every single year I know that you guys have a very hard discussion on how you want the awards to work better than the previous year, because there will always be people that saying like, oh, why didn't this get nominated, and why did this get nominated so many times and not this? And the organization of it all, people always have something to say about it, which is understandable. Everybody wants to have their their anime chosen, and they want to make it better, but we also want to make sure everybody knows that it's really hard. Like there's no perfect way to do an award show. Everybody has something to say about the Grammys and the Oscars and all the others, why it sucks and why it doesn't work. No award show works. So this is just a fun thing. And everyone, if your favorite anime did not get chosen for this, believe us, it's just for fun.
I also want to add that before we get into the awards here, that there are no movies included, there are no OVAs included, there are no TV specials included. It's all just TV series that had a season conclude in 2020. So you're not going to see Jujutsu Kaisen on this list. You won't see Attack on Titan season 4. You won't see a variety of other things that were very popular that just probably started in the winter that didn't conclude. Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan season 4. You're going to see those in the next Anime Oscars when we do this next year. So just keep that in mind before anybody's like, Jujutsu Kaisen not nominated for Best Action. What kind of bullshit is this? Don't send the hate mail. Just to take a chill pill and sit back and relax and just take it easy. Take it easy. So
Enjoy the show.
does anybody else have anything to add to this before we start getting into the awards?
Nope.
I think we're good.
Oh, the lights are dimming. Oh, they're dimming the lights out in the lobby of the convention center, signaling that it is time to funnel into the hall where we will be privy to an array of fantastic awards that are going to be given out to only the snootiest and the snottiest of anime Hollywood. So I definitely know that's going to be true. So, all right, well, let's get right to it, guys. Without further delay, we have the first award of our Anime Oscars, and the first award is Best Animation. So a lot of good shows in 2020, of course. It's very difficult to... Best Animation can be kind of subjective at times, I think, because people sometimes look for different things in their animation, but ultimately, I think we have a pretty strong list here of what the best were. And I should say that there is an abstain category on all these votes. If people were going to vote for something, but they just hadn't seen enough in the category, they are encouraged to click abstain. And I will say that the abstain button was clicked 550 times in our voting. So every category had quite a lot of abstaining going on. And so you can be sure that people aren't just clicking the anime that they happen to see. A lot of people would probably just pick the one that they saw, and even if they hadn't seen any of the others, but that kind of skews the vote. So people are bowing out when they don't have much of input to offer. So, and I'm glad that people do that. So, but without further delay, Best Animation, and we include style and quality for 2020. The nominees are Appare Ranman, BNA, Fire Force Season 2, Great Pretender, Is the Order a Rabbit Bloom? It's a very strange, it's an unbelievably weird title. Peter Grill, Big Troll Job. The God of High School, and Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. So, those are our fine list of nominees, and the winner of Best Animation for 2020 is... Oh, yes! Great Pretender. So, any shocks with Great Pretender being the taker of Best Animation for 2020?
I wouldn't say so. No?
Not really. In my mind, this was a toss-up between Great Pretender and Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, neither of which I thought had phenomenal animation from like a frame-to-frame perspective, but the style and swagger and use of colors is just so eye-popping that both shows are such a joy to look at that I could have seen it going either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love the color palette that they used in Great Pretender, and I think that really contributes to the style points as well in the show, because there were just some shots where just even like the water during the aerial races and stuff, and that's in the second episode, I believe it was, were just breathtaking. Just the artistic choices that they took with just everything, from like the beautiful sunsets in the show to just the way that they can bring a mundane item or a mundane shot of a city like to life with just unbelievable artistic design. And A Great Pretender aesthetically was pretty much a masterpiece from Wit Studio, and Wit Studio, one of the better studios we've got in anime right now. So it only makes sense, I think, that it's an award that they can be proud of. And I'm gonna put the little pie graphs up here too from the voting if people wanna kind of just check out the other anime. Other standouts in the voting were Toilet Bound Hanako-kun was pretty highly voted up on as well for I think similar reasons. So but with 28% of the vote, Great Pretender easily won this category. So not particularly close.
I will say, and although the story is not as good as Great Pretender, if you want another show that has a very similar look to it, Wit Studio a couple years earlier did a series called Rolling Girls, which is, you could very much see it as the inspiration for a lot of what they went on to do in Great Pretender. A lot of the same color palettes, a lot of that like flat coloring with it. It just has a lot of the same styling. So if you want more of that visual tapestry, check out Rolling Girls. Despite it being kind of a weak story, it looks amazing as well.
All right. Well, shall we move on to the next category? I believe that oh, look, Caroline is coming on stage to announce the winner of Best OP and ED. She gives the Queen's wave with the turning palm, very royal. And so let's hear the nominees for Best Opening or Ending. This includes both, I believe.
Okay, so Best OP/ED. Of course, we have Abstain, a great song. Great, I loved it. We got BNA, ED, Dodo Hey Dodo, OP, Drifting Dragons, OP, Fruits Basket Season 2, OP, Great Pretender, ED, It Invaded, ED, Kaguya-sama Love is War, OP, and there's more, right? Yeah.
There's more. You gotta look below.
Yeah. Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, OP, Listeners, OP, Tonikaku Kawaii, OP, and Tower of God, OP.
And Kaku Shigoto ED. It was hiding at the end.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No sweat.
And the winner is Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, OP.
Mason's doing the dab. There you go.
You can't not vote for this song.
You really can't.
It's just amazing how just catchy it was and much excitement it brought to a show even before it even started airing.
Once a song hits memedom, there is nothing that can surpass it.
It cannot be stopped. I think that the Twitch audience is pleased with this. Most people feel like it was the right choice, giving it to Eizouken, and here are the percentages. I think it's pretty close though, despite having such a fantastic theme song. The Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2 was pretty close behind Eizouken here.
Yeah, less than 2% difference.
Daddy Daddy Do was a pretty good OP. So
I mean, I personally love the directing stylings of Daddy Daddy Do more. I mean, it tells a story, it tells you more about their personalities and sets you in the vibe of the show, whereas Eizouken's is more just straight up adrenaline and fun. So it has a very different purpose, but Kaguya's openings have always been amazing. And one small fact about the polling, out of every single category across this entire show, the entry that got the fewest number of votes is the listeners OP in this category, which only got 2 votes. So we had hundreds of people fill out the survey, and we appreciate that. And out of all of them, every thing that got nominated got at least some votes, and the lowest number was listeners, with only 2 people thinking that OP was the best, which we appreciate and love.
That was my nomination. I love that OP.
Because it's not bad. It shows how competitive this category is.
It really is probably the best thing to come out of that entire show is the OP.
I mean,
not wrong.
I think that's part of the problem. Like, people probably just couldn't bring themselves to vote for listeners for any category because of how shitty that anime was.
But yeah, Eizouken, I trusted the audience with this implicitly, and you guys did not disappoint, so thank you.
You would have been so disappointed if it hadn't won.
I would have been a little disappointed. And like I said, Kaguya is great, Dorohedoro is great. So many of these are great. The EDs of Kakushigoto are amazing. Like, there's so much quality there. And I feel like the best OP and ED tends to be more competitive because, unlike watching a show that takes hours, anyone can go and watch a minute and a half of music and visuals to like get a feel for a show. So I feel like a lot more people can input on this. So yeah.
If Azokan hadn't won, would you have cried a little?
Um,
It's
it
okay.
depends
It's
on
okay
what
to.
it was replaced with.
Oh, okay.
Listeners.
If
Oh,
Tony
man.
Kaku, as much as I love that OP, if that had won, if Great Pretenders ED had won, like I would have been a little sad. So you guys voted well. I approve your votes collectively.
All right. Well, why don't we move on to the next category?
Which is you, my friend.
Oh, wow. Let me get back on the stage here. It's pretty far, pretty long walk from the studio back to the stage, and he has arrived. All right, so best score / music. We're wrapping up the aesthetic stuff here. So not necessarily the OP or the ending, but people get very fixated on like the openings or whatever for an anime, but you got to remember that there's a lot more music in an anime than just the opening. So we want to give credit to where credit is due everywhere. So we have nominees for best score / music, and the listeners on Twitch are marking off their Anime Oscars scorecards to see how many they could predict correctly. I know some of you are probably guessing. I want to know who has the highest prediction score at the end of this. So the
we need to make bingo sheets. Be fun.
Yeah, bingo sheets, exactly. So the best score for the nominees for best score / music are Apare Ranman, BNA, Drifting Dragons, Fire Force Season 2, Great Pretender, Haikyuu to the Top, which is Season 4, I guess, of Haikyuu, Somali and the Forest Spirit, and ReZero Season 2. And the winner of best score is Great Pretender. Which makes sense because it won the best OP ending. So, fantastic music in Great Pretender by Yutaka Yamada. So, just great work. But ultimately, there's not much extra to be added to this, considering we already talked about all the aesthetics from Great Pretender. And I think Great Pretender was a standout aesthetically. So, and that includes the taking best music, best score, and best animation. That's pretty savage.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main reason it stood out in both categories is just it felt different. So few anime just rely on that like jazzy soundtrack that everything can kind of sound similar if you're not listening too intently. So when a show pops you out of the gate with this vibrant color palette and this like banging soundtrack, like it catches your attention and is more memorable than something like Drifting Dragons, which I love the soundtrack too, but it doesn't wow you in the same way that Great Pretender does. So yeah, makes sense that it really enraptured people.
It had 21.6% of the vote, and the Twitch audience is noticing that abstain got second place with 20%. That's because people are really stepping out when they don't feel like they have a valid opinion. Like one person out of every 5 didn't feel comfortable voting, and that's a good thing. You want that abstain number to be pretty high, I think. So you don't want as few bullshit votes as you can.
Yeah,
So,
like if you just watched like 3 anime in the last year, then you can't really get a good feeling over what exactly was the best of the year. So
Exactly.
you don't want it just to be won by popularity.
You got it.
So
All right.
I nominated Somali, and I think it could have been higher. Somali. It was a good soundtrack, and yeah, it's a very nice one.
Second place went to Haikyuu to the top, but it was pretty easily won by Great Pretender. All right, now everybody's favorite boys will be on display in our next category. Caroline?
All right, best boy. The nominees were, oh god, oh my,
You can do it.
Voldegode. Is that how you say that?
Yeah,
That's how I would
nailed
say
it.
it.
You got Apade, you got Kaiman from Doro Hodoro, Daisuke Kanbei from Millionaire Detective, Genjiro Tanagaki from Golden Kamui Season 3, Hanako-kun from Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Kun Guero. Is that it?
Close enough. From Tower of God.
From Tower of God, and William Moriarty from Moriarty the Patriot. And I didn't say at first Anno's Voldegold was from the Misfit of Demon King Academy. So the winner is Kaiman from Dore Hodoro.
Gotta protect our lizard boys.
Everybody's favorite lizard boy. So second place goes to Misfit of Demon King Academy, and the third one goes to Tower of God.
I was pretty shocked that Anos got such a high percentage of the vote. 21%. I mean, Kaiman got 26%, so that's a pretty high number. But like, Anos was, I guess, more popular than I thought he was, because I didn't honestly expect that kind of a response to to the voting. So
he did really well. He did really well in the Discord poll as well. And I think people just like his energy, that optimism, that just big devil energy, and people vibe with that.
They like his mushroom gratin.
Exactly.
Yeah, so honestly, to be perfectly honest, I was surprised that Hanako-kun didn't do better.
Me too.
I mean, not even close with only just under 9% of the vote. It's just not a good showing. I thought that Hanako-kun was a memorable character. So, but whatever. Can't win them all, I guess. But
a lot of the people on the list seem to be like older characters too. Like they're not really boys, but I guess if you are good enough, anybody can be a boy.
I mean, it's technically this male character, and does it appeal to like, oh, he's cool and suave? Is he just a cutie patootie, or is he just a derpy, lovable lizard man? And I feel like Kaiman's Venn diagram touches on enough characteristics that he has a lot of appeal.
Well, Kaiman would have been my pick because he was just fucking awesome. So, I mean, first of all, you don't get too many like lizard dudes biting off people's heads or whatever the fuck he does. He's a pretty badass character in that anime, and definitely memorable. So, and that's really important. People are going to vote for what they remember, and so Kaiman was a fucking lizard man. So, then that's all that really needs to be said. He's a fucking badass. All right. Well, now I think the best girl is where people really get crazy. Everyone's always talking about the best girl.
You know that this is the most important category because this category had the fewest number of abstains.
Oh, yeah.
Of the entire sheet. So this is more important than the best anime, worst anime, anything. This is where people stake their claim, they pick out their hill to die on, and they fight the war that is deciding best girl. And the nominees are Chika Fujiwara from Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2, Haru Nonaka from Sing Yesterday for Me, Sayaka Kanamori from Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, Maple from Bofuri, Noi from Dorohedoro, Ranka Okami from Seton Academy, Somali from Somali and the Forest Spirit, and Rem from ReZero Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner.
The tension. Oh.
For the best girl of 2020.
So much tension.
Is Chika Fujiwara from Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2.
This is the second year in a row that Chika has won this category.
Wild.
I think Chika needs to be banned from the Anime Awards.
What an absolute unit. Listen, as long as they keep on coming out with seasons of this, she's going to keep on dominating because just the people love her. And even though, she might not be even my best girl from that even show, so many memes, so many gifs, so many just widespread appeal that you understand where the love comes from.
Well, I am reformed, so I'm not allowed to vote for Maple. So I would not vote for Maple as the Pope. I have reformed my ways.
No, you haven't.
But
say that you haven't.
Let's see, who is the least moe character on this list? I'm gonna have to go with Noi. I would have picked Noi for sure.
So Noi came in third place, and I was surprised that she placed so low, despite the love that we've showered upon her in past episodes, but she might be a little too scary for people. Just people can't handle how great she is.
Well, this wasn't even close. I mean, Chica got almost 30%. I mean, that's like ridiculous. So when you think about it, whoever the hell Ronka Okami is, lost to
Abstain.
Chica by she lost to Abstain first of all, but she also
The
lost.
only one
that lost to Abstain.
Yeah.
She also lost to Chica by just well over 100 votes. It's just wild. So for every one person that voted for Ronka, 100 people voted for Chica. So pretty crazy. But Chica, I mean, she likes her ramen, but she wasn't even really.
Kanamori does as well, and Kanamori got second place, and I'm happy with that.
Chica didn't even. I feel like she didn't even do much though in the second season of Kaguya-sama. Like she definitely wasn't to me as prevalent as in the first season. Maybe you guys don't agree, but there was no ramen episode. There was no, fantastic
volleyball episode.
Yeah, I mean, but
when she's there, she still just runs the show. Like when they do the Game of Life in episode 1, and she's just ruining Kaguya and Shinagame's whole prospects of marriage. It's amazing. I gotta respect the greats.
It's a pretty fun episode. So Kaguya-sama, we'll see if they make more of that. If they do, we will be here. All right, the next category was assigned to me because it's close to my heart. So best sports anime, and honestly, let's be clear, there weren't many standout sports anime in 2020. So it was definitely a down year for sports. I think we're going to be getting more sports anime in 2021, but we will work with what we've got. The nominees for best sports anime are Chihaya Season 3. Don't know how this made it in here. The Haikyuu to the Top Season 4 is in here, of course. Major Second Season 2, and Taisho Samurai also nominated for best sports. So, and we will let the Twitch audience twist for a little bit before we announce the winner here. And the winner for best sports anime is
just watching Twitch chat.
Haikyuu Season 4 to the top of the voting.
Ooh, how suave.
This was not all that close. I mean, Haikyuu is a staple of anime sports, and it continues to be highly watched and highly loved and highly regarded. And the boys from Haikyuu just crushed this category. Not a whole lot to choose from in this category, but as I put up the pie graph here, you'll see that an overwhelming amount of this pie graph is made up of Haikyuu, because Haikyuu got 40% of the vote here, with 33% abstaining, because people just, I guess, don't watch sports anime. I don't know what's going on here, but Chihaya did get 20%, but Haikyuu just dominating. Did you guys watch the season of Haikyuu, and how did you particularly feel about it?
I think my opinions have been pretty well expressed. I thought this was the weakest season of Haikyuu. It had its moments. I thought part 1 was all right, but it wasn't my thing. I've aired my grievances with it before. You guys need to watch Chihaya. It is just so spectacularly done and just pristine in its presentation that I know it's not a sport you might not have heard of before, but it is excellent, and the characters are phenomenal, and they all deserve love, and I'm still happy for Haikyuu. I still will watch it because I do enjoy it. Even at its worst, it's still damn good. So I'm not surprised in any manner that this won.
I've never seen Haikyuu. I've only seen a few episodes of Chihaya. Never seen Major Second Season 2, and Taisho Samurai. What is that? So I was in the abstain category for sure.
I mean, I think that if you were to go by the number of people that claim to have watched these anime on my anime list, over 4 times as many people watched Haikyuu Season 4 as Chihaya Season 3. It's a little hard to win the category when 4 times as many people that are voting watched Haikyuu. So it is what it is, but Haikyuu does carry that excitement with it. It's been pretty much the biggest thing every time it's come out since its first season. So it's not really all that shocking, I guess. So
No,
and
no.
I'm sure Haikyuu isn't probably not the last season of Haikyuu either, if I had to bet. Although I'm way behind on Haikyuu, so like what the hell do I know? All right. Well, we're into our genres now, but we're into our best. We're officially into our best genres, so which is very exciting. And this next one is really competitive. Caroline?
All right, the best fantasy anime. We have Akudama Drive. We have Ascendance of a Bookworm Season 2. Doro Hey Doro. So I can't pronounce that. Dragon Quest. Interspecies Reviewers. How did that get in there? Misfit, A Demon King
Oh,
Academy.
come on.
Sleepy Princess in Devil's Castle. Somali and the Forest Spirit. And Dragon Quest has been listed twice. Never mind.
Well, it's just that good. I mean,
let's see if it was good enough. The winner is Doro Hey Doro. Yay!
so
All right.
yeah.
Was not I was expecting that. I mean, it's so popular, so of course it won.
Dragon Quest did terribly in this category. So yeah,
So terribly, we forgot we listed it once and it got listed twice.
it got
Well,
listed.
I think it was nominated back when we thought it was going to end, and then it hasn't ended from what I know. So I don't think anyone has been keeping up with it enough to vote for it. And regardless of that, like it's going up against Hedora, which got a lot of love. I thought Somali and the Forest Spirit was an excellent runner-up in this category. So those were the two I was pulling for, and I'm glad to see them do so well.
And in third place was Interspecies Reviewers.
You know, it's just a different kind of fantasy.
Wow. As our Twitch
Certainly
audience,
fantasy for a lot of viewers.
you got that right. Yeah, so, Salamander Girl. All I have to say about that. So
I will say when I because I got to this late, when there was an opening for Best Fantasy nomination, I nominated Interspecies Reviewers, but I put Lemmy Face after it in the poll, so that was my.
So this is your doing.
Your troll vote.
The people agree. You're welcome. I
Wow.
bamboozled you all. I was the one who submitted it, and haha, clever laughs were had.
I'll say something. I'll say one thing, Mason. Since we watched Interspecies Reviewers and reviewed it on a hentai episode, it was better than it had the right to be.
Yes.
I'll just
absolutely.
say that. Like, there's plenty of anime we've reviewed on this podcast, like in our main podcast, that I would say aren't as enjoyable as Interspecies Reviewers. We just covered one of those last week. So, you know, despite I don't know, you can't even barely even call that hentai. Also, I would say. So, all right. Well, now that that's out of the way, everybody's favorite category.
Up next is the best isekai anime, and the nominations are Ascendance of a Bookworm Season 2, Decadence, Kuma 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 Bear, My Next Life is a Villainess, Sword Art Online, Alicization Part 2, and ReZero Season 2. And the winner for the best isekai of 2020 is ReZero Season 2 by Studio White Fox.
Not close.
Yeah, pretty convincing victory. I really liked ReZero Season 2. I just felt like so much of the payoff for it will be coming in Part 2 of Season 2, so I was not voting on that because I was like, I feel like it's not reached its peak yet. And I thought Decadence was a super interesting show. Glad that got third place on the poll, but it's definitely not in the same wheelhouse of mass popularity as with things like ReZero or SAO.
I mean, what is really?
Nothing.
I mean, pretty much.
I only just started ReZero, so.
Oh, really? And are you
a few
enjoying it?
episodes in. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, people are saying like, "Oh my god, it's the most depressing thing I've ever seen." And yeah, it's not exactly a very optimistic anime. I wouldn't say it's the most depressing thing I've ever seen.
I mean, have you seen Grave of the Fireflies, people?
I have not. That would probably be topping the list if I had, though.
Yeah, I mean, Grave of the Fireflies, yeah. Or like Searching for the Full Moon. That's pretty depressing. There's some depressing shit out there. But yeah, approximately 1/3 of the votes is pretty strong, considering the category. So second place went to My Next Life as a Villainess, which is also very popular. So, but ReZero is just a buzzsaw. There's nothing you can do about it, pretty much.
ReZero versus I'm blanking on the name. Chica. That's the battle of the Titans. One show versus one character. Who's the most popular?
The universe implodes.
Rem versus Chica. Oh yeah, we've already
Exactly.
decided that. I forgot.
Well, Rem was from what I recall, not even in that season.
Oh really?
Spoilers.
She was in it for an episode.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
All right. Well, this next category is arguably the most competitive every year. The best drama, really speaks to the anime that kind of reach into your heart and pluck at those heartstrings and make you fully aware of your emotions. And there's always so many great anime every year that make it into this category that it's just is unbelievably competitive. And I think you're going to see after I read this that it's a pretty strong list of names here, including nominees, which are Chihai Afuru Season 3, Fruits Basket Season 2, Japan Sinks 2020, Mason's favorite, Moriarty the Patriot, getting a little unexpected love in the Anime Oscars, Somali and the Forest Spirit, The Day I Became a God, Wave, Listen to Me, and, as we were just mentioning, ReZero Season 2. So some pretty strong names in this list. But ultimately, the winner of the category goes to... Predictions are rolling in on Twitch. The winner is Fruits Basket. TMS Entertainment. Fruits Basket fans everywhere are just going ape shit. So that's
I need to catch up on season 2. I started watching the first few episodes and I need to get back into it.
Well, I know people were loving the shit out of some Fruits Basket, and you won't have to wait long, as I believe the next season's coming out in pretty short order. But
the final season.
Oh yeah, big sad. But with 25% of the vote, a decisive victory over the second place ReZero Season 2, which to me is a little surprising, with only 18%. So not all that close. A pretty proud victory for Fruits Basket. And Moriarty the Patriot barely even claiming just the smallest slice of this pie chart that you can have. Sad.
It is Pie Day.
It is Pie Day.
That's why we're doing it.
I'm giving you many pie charts on Pie Day, so. All right. And I would say best drama is probably one of my favorite categories. I always think that the best anime usually find their way to the best drama category. Because to me, best drama, it oftentimes equals really good writing, which I think is important. So, all right. And the next category is just a barrel of laughs.
It's the best comedy anime, and nominated we have Bofuri, Gal and Dino, Mason's favorite. Japan Sings 2020, also Mason's favorite. Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2, Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, My Next Life as a Villainess, Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It, Scene Academy, Join the Pack, and Sleepy Princess in the Demon
Castle.
A few of those I had no idea what those are.
It's in the Demon Castle. She didn't get eaten. It didn't fit, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't fit.
Yeah. She's not dead.
So the winner is Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2.
Dominant.
No way it was
Dominant.
gonna be anything else, except maybe Japan Sinks, because that was pretty funny.
That was a different kind of funny.
How the hell is Japan Sinks on the list? That's not a comedy, is it?
Yeah, who nominated that?
I don't want to name names, but it was not me. But there's definitely, a big discrepancy between people who are like, oh, Japan Sinks is so dramatic and heartfelt, it's the best drama nomination, and the people who are like, this show is such a disaster that it's So Bad It's Funny for Best Comedy, but thankfully it won neither. Um, Wish Dino got some more love, but I think as subjective as comedy is, nothing was more joyous to watch than Kaguya-sama. That was constantly firing on all cylinders, and even though Eizouken, which got third place in her poll, I think is a better show, like its comedy was not its focus, and it makes sense that Kaguya won. So no surprise here.
I mean, Kaguya-sama claimed 40% of this poll. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous for something that had like a dozen options. I mean,
Just flexing.
how does that even happen? That's like 3 times its the amount that it would have had proportionally. So that's pretty ridiculous. But could this be a premonition of things to come at the end of our show? Could it be?
Ooh.
Could it be a premonition? Chills down the spine, and all that. All right. Well, the next category is one of my personal favorites. I love me some action and adventure, which is also a very competitive category. It has a ton of nominees in it. But, just action shows are just awesome. And to me, they sometimes have the best pacing. And I'm least likely to fall asleep in bed at night if I'm watching an action show. So that's always also a good thing because I'm an old man. So kicking us off here with a bang, we have Akudama Drive as our first nominee. Appare Ranman, Bofuri, Decadence, Doro Hey Doro, Drifting Dragons, Fate Grand Order, Babylonia, Fire Force Season 2, Golden Kamuy Season 3, A Certain Scientific Railgun T, and lastly, Wandering Witch. A very long competitive list of anime here. But one must prevail, and the winner is Doro Hey Doro from Mappa. Oh! Doro Hey Doro. Pretty great action and even better world building. Brings this anime to the forefront of people's minds, I would assume. They probably had arguably the best world building of the year, I would say.
Yeah, it was tough because it wasn't like explicitly an action show. Like the fight scenes weren't super prevalent, and it wasn't a huge adventure. Like they're kind of just scrounging around this dilapidated city, but nonetheless, the vibe of just like exploring and getting in the mischief and getting into hijinks while having this like undercurrent of this seedy underbelly world just enveloping it just felt right in this category. And it's action adventure is such a nebulous designation both in anime and video games. Like it's kind of just the catch-all, and I think people come at it in a lot of different ways, and I'm just glad Dorohedoro did well because it's a good show.
Second place went to Studio Piero's Akudama Drive. I have no idea how, but I don't know how that happened.
I mean, it had probably, for all the faults I had with that show, probably some of the finest choreography in the fight scenes. Like the action part of it was pretty solid, so I could see it.
Oh, Mason, always the optimist.
Same with Fire Force Season 2. Like that was a huge adventure, action, big budget, literal explosion show. So there's so much good stuff here.
Yeah, I mean,
and Bofuri, I think, got 4th place, and even though that's a very kind of floofy, moe, just relaxing kind of show, it had some pretty decent animation and overall pretty fun for what it was.
Well, let's not give every show credit here. Let's okay. It had Syrup absolutely demolishing everything, which is the best action scene from that show. That giant turtle just wrecking shop.
I mean, I would say that
was pretty great.
I would say that as far as like action scenes go, something like Fire Force Season 2 probably had more impressive action scenes than Doro Hey Doro did. But ultimately, Doro Hey Doro was the better overall anime, and I think that reflects in people's voting. It's difficult to recall, how good was this action scene, or how good was the fight choreography, but people will remember that the anime overall was a standout, and I think that has an impact. So, because certainly also shows like Fate Grand Order Babylonia had really good action scenes as well, but ultimately I don't think people remember that anime as being particularly a good show, and so it just didn't do well in the poll. So despite probably having a fairly large audience. So all right, what is the next fine category on our list here?
That would be Best Studio of 2020.
Ooh.
So we had, it's always very competitive because so many studios come up with somewhat, so like if you have like one main big show of the year, that studio is now known for it. So it really comes down to just how many, blockbusters did they send out during the last year. So we have A1 Pictures, Mappa, PA Works, Production IG, Science Saru, and Wit Studio. And the winner is, sorry, I always like a drum roll, would be Mappa, who did Doro Heidoro, Jujutsu Kaisen, God of High School, and Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I mean,
and like we said, even though Jujutsu Kaisen and like Attack on Titan weren't like nominated for shows this year, I think just part of that being a cultural force in 2020 with all the other stuff they pumped out makes Mappa the best studio by a landslide. Like this was the most dominant category in the entire award show, with essentially half of all votes going to Mappa.
Yeah, about half exactly. It was kind of a landslide, and Mappa just keeps crushing everything they do. Is just awesome. Was it Mappa that did Rage of Bahamut Genesis? Was that one of their first anime that they did?
Yes, I believe so.
I mean, clear back to that anime. I mean, even that anime was fantastic to watch. I mean, it was a visual splendor. Because Mappa doesn't have. Let me see what they did before that anime, because
I mean, they've done so much. They've done Yuri on Ice, for example. They've done a ton of weird, more art housey type stuff. So there's a lot to love.
Did they do what's it called? Megalobox as well?
I don't believe so. I thought that was Bones or IG. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I know they did Dororo a couple years ago, and I think they might have done Banana Fish. I can't remember.
So
that sounds like them.
Mappa's credited with some work on Kids on the Slope. That was probably their first thing that had any kind of viewership, and then after that, Hajime no Ippo Rising, and after that, Terror in Residence, which I thought was a very kind of bad anime, and then Bahamut Genesis after that. So it was one of their first, but just ever since Bahamut Genesis was the first one that I watched, that I thought like, wow, this is a studio that's like fairly new, that's putting out something that's like really a visual splendor. And since then, they've done so many titles that have had tons of people watching, leading all the way up to the new season of Attack on Titan, which just looks fucking amazing. So, they're just crushing it everywhere. So, what else can you say, really? Mappa is.
I do want to correct
Mappa's
myself. Megalobox was done by TMS Entertainment, so not what I said.
Mason.
Well, not what I said either.
Can't be right all the time.
I don't think we mentioned second place was Wit Studio with and they did Great Pretender, and in third place was Production IG, who did Moriarty the Patriot, Haikyuu, Ghost in the Shell, 2045, and Noblesse,
I think. But yeah, I mean, it's funny that Wit Studio just did that one show, but I think from their reputation and how good with all the awards it won earlier in Great Pretender, that was enough to carry it to second place. But yeah, no surprise with this category.
All right. Well, we're getting down to the end of our show here, which makes me feel very sad. But ultimately, we have the Pooper Scooper, Mason. Plenty of cats contributed.
Which is the Worst of 2020 award, known fondly as the Pooper Scooper. I will say off the bat, this was the only category that Abstain won. So it means we were doing a good job of sifting through the worst of the worst so that you, our audience, isn't having to watch it yourself. But for those brave enough who did and did vote, you had these shows to choose from. A Destructive God, BNA, sits next to me, thank you. Yeah. Ghibli 8, Japan Sinks 2020, Listeners, Noblesse, and Plunderer.
Plunderer, holy shit. Oh my god.
And someone who did reviews on a lot of these shows, I had a personal stake in this award. But the winner for the worst show, the Pooper Scooper of 2020, is Ghibli 8.
Very nice.
Yeah, this was owned by Studio L and LA Unchbox. I don't know if that's supposed to be Lunchbox. I don't know, but
They took the L on this one.
man,
They did.
this was a bad show. This was hard to watch, and I know we're getting a lot of troll funny votes, haha, X Arm, for example, from this season, but Ghibli 8 is bad, and I didn't even finish it, and I say that with every confidence in my heart that it will not have gotten better. So for those of you who braved it and watched some of it, we appreciate your sacrifice. And you guys have any thoughts about this category?
Sadly, I've seen at least part of pretty much every one of these anime, which I don't know how that happened, but I will say that I don't know that I finished any of them. Oh, I finished Listeners, unfortunately.
I did not finish any of these. I think I might have watched a couple episodes of A Destructive God Sits Next to Me. I think I'm the one who actually nominated that one. I watched a couple episodes of Listeners, and I think maybe one episode of Plunderer. And I have to say, they do deserve their place on this pie chart.
Plunderer was fucking terrible. I mean, that is, man. I think
yeah.
It deserved more
It was
vote than it
bad.
got. Yeah, that anime was fucking terrible. So, all right. Well, the time has come to announce the best anime 2020, according to this podcast, according to our audience. Obviously the most competitive category. All the good anime should be here on this list, and probably reads like a summary recommendation list of last year. So if you want to just watch the good stuff and not watch not sift through all the shit, just write down this list of anime and you'll probably have all of the standouts. Very competitive. There were, let's see, 4 anime within 5% of each other at the top of the list.
Yeah, number 1 and 2 were separated by 5 votes, and number 2 and 3 were separated by 2 votes. So out of the hundreds of people that responded, 1 or 2 votes could have swung this ballot.
So the nominee list, pretty extensive here. I'm going to read them off here very slowly for you guys, so you can let all of the glory sink in of these fine productions. Ascendance of a Bookworm Season 2 from Aji Ado. Chihaya Fudu Season 3 from Studio Madhouse. Decadence from Studio Nut. Doro Hey Doro from Studio Mappa. Golden Kamuy Season 3 from Geno Studio. Great Pretender from Wit Studio. Haikyuu to the Top Season 4, Production IG. Kaguya-sama Love is War Season 2 from A1 Pictures. Kakushigoto from Aji Ado, their second nominee. Keep Your Hands Off of Eizouken from Science Saru. And Somali and the Forest Spirit from Studio Satellite. Ooh. And the predictions will roll in.
So
eventually.
Many good shows.
Yes. But only one can win. And the winner of 2020's best anime goes to Doro Hey Doro. How do we feel about Doro Hey Doro winning best anime of 2020?
Not surprised. Although, actually, maybe a little bit surprised. I think Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken was a very... It probably deserved to be anime of the year as well. I'm not saying that Doro Hey Doro isn't deserving. I'm just saying that I was kind of surprised that Eizouken didn't win.
I'm not surprised. We did our Discord poll, and I think Doro Hedoro won that as well. So it was kind of getting sentiment. And as much as we can say oh, Netflix jail, or it's kind of a weird dark show, or I didn't think the manga art would translate that well, and it has a lot of CG, and the ending is kind of like makes you need to read more. Like, doesn't have a very conclusive thing. Like, there are so many things that I could see like Dorohedoro falling victim to and being like, well, that's why it didn't win, because it had this or this against it. But for it to overcome and win despite all that, I think is just a testament to how solid and lovable the characters, the world, the writing, just the gyoza and that just environment are.
Good gyoza.
So
Fucking
it had so
gyoza.
much going for it, and I'm so pleased that Dorohedoro won. And I think for how close the race is, I'm glad with the placement of just about everything on this list. So glad that the listeners really came through on this one.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Dorohedoro was not leading the poll early on, and then I think as the voting progressed, it kind of appeared on top, because I believe early on the poll was dominated by Kaguya-sama and Eizouken, but then as time moved on, Dorohedoro just kind of slowly crept up and eventually took the lead by a small margin. So, but whether it's Dorohedoro or Kaguya-sama or Eizouken or let's see who got fourth place, Haikyuu, like all these are really great anime, and even though we kind of have sour feelings about 2020 for a variety of reasons, it just goes to show that there really were good anime from 2020, and it's ultimately it's nice to have such a wonderful medium to entertain us. So Dorohedoro definitely deserved it. I mean, the world building was fantastic. The characters were great. Everything about it was memorable. Totally bizarre. I mean, we're going to get more Dorohedoro, and at least I hope we do. And
we better.
And I'm sure it'll be just as good when it comes back. And it doesn't seem like too many people were upset on Twitch with the result. So with only 17% of the vote going to Dorohedoro, very close poll. So that's about it. So I am not disappointed.
Yay, we did it. You guys did it. You, the audience. You're the one who put this all together. So we appreciate your feedback, both in doing the polls and letting us know how we can improve this for next year. So each year just gets progressively more awesome, because it's a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, and big thanks to all the podcasts again. I guess I'll read them off one more time. I think that they deserve to at least have people check them out, because they did take the time to nominate anime for our list here. Anime World Order, which everybody pretty much knows because they've been around as long as we have. Nerddom and Other Nonsense, My Anime Podcast, Anime Nostalgia, Anime Summit, and Otaku Spirit all pitched in and made nominations. So appreciate all of you guys and all the listeners that voted, helped make this poll legitimate. So I appreciate the large number of votes and the amount and the time that people took to weigh in. So, because without you and without our friendly podcast colleagues, we wouldn't have a poll to vote in. So, we wouldn't have an Anime Oscar, and we've been doing this for 10 years. And it's kind of neat. Like, when you're saying, it's like, oh, it's like when you're on like the first annual or the second annual, it's like, oh, who gives a shit? But we're on the 10th time we've done this, so it's kind of like we're older than a lot of award shows that happen these days. So
today is the Grammys, I think, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Too bad it didn't align with the Oscars, then we'd be really competing.
Those Grammys, those no-name upstarts trying to encroach on our territory.
All right, well, that's pretty much the end of the podcast. Does anybody have any closing comments about 2020? I know we'll probably continue to talk about this over in our after party after this.
Nah, just I'm hyped for 2021. Just because last year's over doesn't mean the good anime stops. So I think it'll be even more competitive next year. So make sure, if you're unhappy with how these results turned out, that you vote next time, and we look forward to it.
Yes, and I also look forward to watching a little bit more of the shows that we have for topics, because I didn't really have a lot to say about the shows that actually won, because I watched other shows, and now that I'm involved here, I kind of have to watch certain shows. So I'll have definitely more to say if I'm still here next year.
And with that, the curtain closes on another fantastic year of awards and star-studded standouts from anime. Thank you to everybody who watched and listened. We'll see you next year on the Anime Oscars. Mitsuki signing out. Have a great week.
See ya.
Bye.